DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Black Caps into the final of the Champions Trophy. Cock-a-doodle-doo. We play these tournaments pretty damn well. That semi-finals of the ODI World Cup in 2015, that awful final 2019, semi-finals 2023, and now this. Our man Craig Cumming now lives in Nottingham. He went to see Chris Wood play in the FA Cup against Ipswich the other night, so we'll ask about that. But it's a warm welcome back to the show, mate. And you're looking shipshape in Bristol. Pretty smart in that new kit you got there. Is that CC for you, is it? Show us.
Yeah, I got a wee CC for me, Marty. So
go on.
The great thing is the big jackets are black with white stripes. So I actually feel like an All Black. Yeah. And I took the punt. I got my first ever haircut in the UK in the weekend, and yeah, I'm not too. It's short. That's what I like. It always goes too short, and it always grows back. So
there you go.
And then when we saw Chris Wood, my good mate, best mate over here now in Nottingham, play on Monday night in the FA Cup, and he went on as a sub and then scored a goal and a penalty. Took the first one, Marty. So I was jumping up and down.
Yeah, I bet you're right. So, and just on that, before we get into the Champions Trophy, well, the atmosphere in that ground, I reckon it'd be one of the best premiership grounds to go to at the moment.
Oh, it's a sort of a fairy tale story after they fell off the edge of the cliff, didn't they? They were, 70s and early 80s. That's when the stadium was built, Marty. It was built based on them being,
European champions.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm literally about 700 metres from it where I am now, and it doesn't look as big from the outside, but I can tell you, you've been to my first experience of a football game of that magnitude, and it was everything I could have hoped for. Yeah, there was some subs playing, the juniors playing, but the fans were singing, and I couldn't work out what they're singing. I just sang along, made up my own words, Marty. And
of course,
I had my Forest scarf on, even though I'm an Arsenal supporter, that.
Yeah.
When in Nottingham, you've got to support Nottingham. So it was really special, and I walked away from it going, yeah, that's everything I thought it would be and a little bit more.
Lesson number one at all of those grounds, just as a mark of respect, okay, that even though you might support another team, you don't tell anyone that and you don't wear any of that. Don't make that mistake, because it's really important to the people that live there. And you could get yourself in a bit of trouble in that. But I just think it's just very respectful. You just don't. All right, Champions Trophy then. And this Black Cap side. Now, we laid into them last year when they didn't prepare properly for the T20 World Cup, and they deserved that. Well, they prepared properly this time. They played that tournament in Pakistan. They got those warm-up games in those conditions. They've been blitzed right throughout this tournament. Lost to India, of course, but that was a dead rubber match. And hit 362 for 5 or 6 it was, which is the highest total ever in any innings at a Champions Trophy. So this team is just doing it all exactly as it needs to right now.
Yeah, and good timing for me here, Marty. It was on in the morning into early afternoon, so kept a very close eye on it and was watching it. And, I suppose, you're right, their preparation's been far better. I think the team's been more settled, even in New Zealand, Marty, in the series. I think, some of the new players have come in. They've had a total commitment and a total buy-in. I think they seemed refreshed by having that, players who want to play for New Zealand and put that first. And then, also you've got someone like Kane Williamson, who's not a bad guy to step up. He just keeps getting better and better. And, Rutchin just loves playing in the subcontinent. He loves ICC events. What is it, his 500? So, but then again, you get 360, and these days you just never know at the halfway stage, and especially against South Africa, because they, when they played Australia not long ago, they were scoring well into the 300s. So, they did a good job. They got off to a good start, but it also helps having one of the best white ball bowlers, spin bowlers going around, and Mitch Satner, and he did a wonderful job.
Yeah, that kind of total, though, I always think that, I know that Australia chased down 352 or 3 it was against England earlier in the tournament, but, it's very rare that happens, because you put so much scoreboard pressure on, and I love scoreboard pressure in any game of code, be it cricket, be it rugby, doesn't matter what it is. It just means that the other team can't make mistakes, and they've got to be on right from the off, and they've got to go for shots and hit things that perhaps they wouldn't normally, instead of building an innings. And I think probably the South Africans may have been guilty of that, going a little bit early. But as you said, those 2 wickets early from Satner were a real key, weren't they?
Yeah, but it's, I suppose there's also a difference, Marty, in round-robin games, series that don't mean a lot, big scores being played. You're right. It doesn't matter if you don't take a wicket, as long as you score more runs. And if you can get their run rate up to 9 and 10 runs and over, that means they have to do things pretty perfectly for a long stage of time.
That's right.
The difference with this is the final on the line. So in behind that, yep, there's a bit of bravo, there's a bit of that courage, but they know if they get it wrong, they're going to get kicked out of a tournament. Right. South Africa, I think 9 out of 11 times now they've missed out on getting to the final. So that hangs on their head, and by getting runs on the board, New Zealand were able to use that pressure along with some skill to just put pressure on the minute. We did what we normally do. We just suffocate, we squeeze. They're going to have good periods, but we just don't go away. And that's a little bit, I always remember talking to you about our identity as a team or as a nation when we play as the Black Caps. That's our DNA. That's who we are. And we're in the big dance. And, they've had an up and down year since the India series, even before the Indian series, as you mentioned.
Yep.
But we always remember what's here right now, and they're in a final.
Look, and playing an Indian side who have the advantage of being in Dubai, they don't have to travel. I know it's only 3 hours on the plane, but it's just all that getting up from the hotel and unpacking and repacking and all of that kind of stuff. It does take its toll. It tires you out. We all know that when we're moving around travelling and things. That Dubai pitch as well, it does suit them. However, can we attach anything at all to the round-robin loss or not? Or is this just a one-off, winner-take-all final, and that means jack?
I suppose you can do a little bit the fact that you got used to those conditions and you'll be aware because the grounds are very different. Yes, India have played there. They've basically camped up there, isn't it? The home change room's theirs and they haven't moved. So,
that's right, exactly.
I think going into a final, the reality is it's just, let's freshen up. I don't think you should ever, a bit of travel, yes, but if you struggle to get up for a bit of motivation or adrenaline going for a final, you're in trouble, and that won't happen to this New Zealand side. So, in some ways you could turn around and say the pressure's all on India. Everyone expects India. It is. And I just think New Zealand we just embrace it. This team seems to embrace it. And at the moment, they've got their rhythm. They know what they're doing, but they're going to have to play well because India are a very good side. But end of the day, you start none for none off none. I back us. I think we're in good form. We've shown that over a period of time. The most important thing is our batters are in good form. Yeah. Phillips has found his mojo. The way he's playing, he did a great job. I was a wee bit worried in that early 40 overs. I thought we might have lost a wee bit of momentum, and then him and Mitchell put the foot down, and then Phillips is showing his value. He's had a bit of a lean period, sort of probably on his standards, and even in the last 12 months. But great to see him come good because it shows how important that role in that back end is.
So, what is it about our team and our ability, as I outlined, to be consistent in these tournaments? The way that, the ICC or whoever runs world cricket these days have, for want of a better word, deconstructed white ball cricket into just a whole lot of meaningless series that, we end up playing, I think, T20s and ODIs after this. What the hell? But these tournaments, they do mean something. They are significant. And in these tournaments, 15, 19, 23, and now this, that is consistent as any team gets, Craig. But we got to finish it off and win one of these things again. Hang it on the hook next to 2000. Remember the All Blacks of 2011? They always said, 1987, they always said, we want some other blokes to join our club here. And I think those boys from Kenya in 2000 are probably thinking the same. Come on, you lads, walk through this door.
Yeah, it's interesting being over here in the UK because, many people talk about the Black Caps, and again, they just about rubbed me on the top of the head and said, "You boys will be proud. You'll be happy with how you're going." And I sort of had to remind them that they've missed out, but they did remind me that they've won a couple of ICC events. So, what would you rather do? Be semi-final or finalists on a consistent basis? Would you rather have a few ups and downs, but when you have your ups, you win the tournaments? And
that's right.
I probably didn't have. At the end of the day, names on the trophy, Marty. They don't put the name for getting second or third on the trophy, do they? So, unfortunately, but we're also very proud of what they're doing. I'd never buy into this. We lack resources. I'm in a setup here, Marty. I've just turned up and, I've got about sort of 9 coaches alongside me in different places where I have one at the Spark. So more resources here, yet more money. But we just have the ability. I think we play with the right attitude. I think we play with the right, values. I think we enjoy the cricket. And, over the last 10 to 15 years, this Black Cap side they've seemed to embrace the pressure of these events and been super consistent. But at some stage, it'd be nice to like the Test Championship.
Yep.
We've still got that awful one from England. That hurts us.
Still.
And it's going to hurt us until we lift the trophy. So let's hope we can lift one now, and we can put that to bed and say, hey, we have been at the top of.
Got there. That's right. We got there.
Got really close as well.
Yeah, we done it. We won it.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Craig Cumming, ensconced in knots for a few years. We'll be back in touch, dude. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Marty. Good to see you.
DSPN.